In this video, we're going to cover how to drip the content from your members area of the platform to your members. We're going to cover 3 basic types of getting this content to your members. The first one will be for when you want the members to get access to the content after a set amount of days, members who will get access to the same module at different times from each other, and also members who will start the course all together at the same time. So depending on how you want this content to go out to your members might also change the way that you set it up. So it's important to think about how you want them to get access to the content before you start to set up your membership. But if you've already set it up, I'm sure there's a way to get exactly what you want. So the first and easiest way to drip your content to the members is for members who will get access at a set time every X amount of days. So I've set this one up, and this could be a whole course, not just week 1. So the way you could have this set up is this is just week 1 and a different product would be week 2. Or you could have it set up where this one product is your entire course and you have a product for week 1, a product for week 2, a product for week 3, and so on. So to drip this content to your members is very easy. All you'd have to do is go, all right, this can go out to them straight away, but I want this to go out after a certain amount of time. So all you do is click on the little publish button and change it to drip. And then you might want to send this out after 7 days. We'll click save. And this means that everything below will go out after 7 days. Then you might go, actually, I want each one of these to come out once every week. So you could also go to drip after 7 days. But for the example of how I've set this up, what you might want to do is have all of this as week 1. So we'll change this back to published very simply. And after 7 days, you want them to have completed all of this content. You can then change this over to from published to drip and make this one after 7 days. If you have every single week set up as a different category, then you can just drip it out that each week they will get the new one. But what happens if you have an offer that you want all of the members to get to at a different time? So, for example, what it might mean is that every single week you want them to view the product, you want them to do the courses, and then you want them to book on a one-on-one call with you, and not until they book that one-on-one call do they get access to the week 2 offer. So you could set this up a little bit differently. Instead of setting up every single individual week or module or however you want to do it as an individual section like this, what you could do is set up every single individual week as a different product itself. So here you can see we've set up week 1, week 2, and week 3, all as individual offers. When you're setting up access to the courses, you could very easily just call each offer the week or the module that it represents, and then you could leave the price as nothing. So once they've paid for the overall product or the course you're setting up, they don't have to pay anything to get access to the new course. So we could go create, and then edit any details that we might want to add in. Otherwise, we will just go published and we will just save this offer. If you wanted to manually add someone to the offer, all you would have to do is come into that person's contact page, scroll down to where it says offers, and select the offer you want to add them to. Then you can set up a whole bunch of triggers for anytime someone is added to that offer, it will send them a notification that they can log in. But if you have a lot of people coming into your course or your membership program, that's going to be a lot of effort to come in and do that every single time. So what you could do is this. For the example of people who will be going through a course but they'll get the module at a different time each week, we're going to set up a new pipeline. So we'll go into our settings, go to pipelines and click create new pipeline, and we're going to call this our membership offer. So if you have a name for this overall course, that's what you will call it here. And then what you could simply do is set up every week as a new stage name. So if this was a 6-week course, we would set up 6 different pipeline stages. And then you might want to have another one where it is that the offer is completed. So let's give that a cheeky save, and then let's set up some triggers. So the easiest way to keep track of everything would be to start a new folder, and you could call this the name of your program with triggers on the end if you wanted. So we'll save that, and now we will add a new trigger. So we're going to call this trigger week 1 triggers. And we're going to put this in the folder of the membership program triggers. And then what you could simply do is automation, choose pipeline stage changed, pick the pipeline, in pipeline, the membership program we just set up, And then we can add the filter that the pipeline stage is week 1. So that's when they first get added to the program and they get access. Then you can go simply automation, membership grant offer at the very bottom, and then you can give them access to week 1. And here's where you might set up the notifications to let people know that they have access, send them an email with their login details, or you might want to do that in a separate trigger, but that's all up to you. Then you'd simply switch it from draft to publish, save it, and then you can run it off as soon as you add anyone to that first part of the pipeline. So that's great. That's giving them automatic access to week 1. But how would you automate them going from week 1 to week 2? What you could do is go automation, then go to stale opportunities, add filter in pipeline, the membership program pipeline, and then you could add the filter pipeline stage, week 1, duration in days, and if you wanted this to be a week, you could set this up as 7 days. After 7 days, then you could add them to a campaign that sends them an email prompting them to book in a call with you. Or if you don't want them to wait 7 days, what you could do is give them access to the next week, and then when you send them the details to say, hey, you've got access to week 2, here's my calendar, please book in a time to talk. And then you could set up your calendar so the only availability is after 7 days. That would mean that you could skip this step altogether. So if you want them to not be able to get access to the next week until they've booked in a call with you, you can get them to book in that call by either the first trigger when they get access to book in with a calendar with you, where the calendar is set up that they can't book in until 7 days' time, or you can set up a trigger that after 7 days they get an email prompting them to book in, whichever way works best for you. Then, once you have completed the call with your customer, completed your weekly check-in, you can manually move them from week 1 to week 2 in your opportunity pipeline by dragging them across. Then you could simply recreate the trigger from week 1, where if an opportunity in the pipeline membership program moves to week 2, then give them automatic access to the offer week 2, and then you can send them an email as well, add them to a campaign, or however you want to notify them that they now have access to week 2. And then the exact same thing, you could set it up so that campaign also prompts them to book in a call with you in 7 days' time, or however that your program is structured or set up. Now, the third tactic we want to talk about is members who will all be starting the course together at the same time. If you just watch the version where you were setting up the pipeline, what you could very simply do is add in a new stage, and you could call this waiting or pre-start or pre-lessons or whatever you want to set this up as. So let's call this, we'll simply call it registered for people who are registered, but they haven't started and they haven't got access to week 1 yet. Then when everyone's ready to start, you could either manually move them from registered to week 1, or you could set up some kind of trigger that will automatically move them to the right stage of the pipeline when you're ready for everyone in that course to begin. Now, this is just 3 very basic ways of getting this across. Your details and your needs might be a little bit different, but hopefully this is a bit of a building block to give you an idea of how you can drip this content out.